RPG Maker tip number 17. This is going to be another quick tip on some launch DLC plugins. Go ahead and add a new plugin where it says name, open that, and then go down to HP consume skill. What this plugin does is allow skills to cost HP. This is not very easily done in the base engine, at least not in an elegant way, and this gives you an elegant way to do that. The only thing you can customize about this is the HP color, which utilizes the same color values as your text. To showcase this, I'm going to take one of the default skills and add an HP cost to it. For now, we're going to use the swordsman skill, strong attack. So we wanted to go to the skills list, go to strong attack. In order to set the HP cost, you're going to do a less than sign, HP underscore cost, colon, and the numerical value of how much HP you want the character to lose when they use the skill. So let's just do 135 and end with a greater than sign. So we're on our battle screen here. We're going to go to special, and as you can see, it shows 135 for strong attack. Yellow is the color that was set in the plugin options. You can change that to any color you like. We're going to use it, and you can watch the character lose HP as they use the skill. Enjoy! RPG Maker tip number 18. This is going to be a continuation of the launch DLC plugin tips. Which save screen do you think looks better? Save screen A or save screen B? If you said B, I'm going to show you how to add this save screen to your project. Load up your plugin manager, go ahead and add a new plugin, click name, and then you want to find Alt Save Screen. Go ahead and double click that and then just click OK. There's no special parameters or anything that you have to change. It just works right out of the gate. So just hit OK. And as you can see, the save screen's been changed. I think this one looks better visually, specifically because it adds the faces at the bottom instead of the character sprites. It makes it a little more, I don't know, personal or just aesthetically pleasing. Enjoy. Here's an RPG Maker tip. Today is focused on comments. Make sure you're utilizing comments. Comments are so important. Sometimes you step away from a project or you're working on like a complex system or something, and comments can really help you break things up and understand what's happening at different points during the event. Comments do not affect your event in any way. They're essentially just invisible to the event. It's something only you can see. It's never shown in game and can be very, very helpful. A good example for this can be found in the latest YouTube video I did about how to create a switch puzzle. I used a comment at the top of each of the event command lists for these switches to know which switches to change throughout the event instead of having to press OK and go back into each switch every time to check which surrounding switches are getting adjusted. In order to add a comment in your event list, go ahead and double click. It's on the first page, and it's right down here at the bottom, comment, and a text box will pop up, and all you have to do is enter what you want your comment to be. If you want people to play your RPG Maker game, avoid making this mistake. Hello, I'm Alex. Hello, Alex, I'm Robot. What's happening, robot? There's an evil man burning the village. We must stop him. Okay, cool. Okay, that was a bit of a dramatization, but you get my point. Nothing will make someone uninstall your game faster than poorly formatted dialogue. Make sure you're using capitalization, punctuation, anything grammatically possible to make your dialogue look better than this. Poorly formatted dialogue kind of says to the player, I didn't care enough to format this, so you shouldn't care enough to play it. There's also more you could do for the actual content of your text, but that's a separate video. You want to add lore to your RPG Maker game. Big, sprawling blocks of text that fill out the history and elements of your game's world. Not a lot of simple options for that. The best option, in my opinion, is show picture, but that requires some graphical prowess. Introducing the next best option, show scrolling text. Scrolling text can be great for game intros or story beats, but it can also be used as a decent avenue for showing off a lot of text at one time. It allows you to adjust the speed of the text from 1 to 8 and has seemingly no limit, at least not one that I could find. Just keep in mind that once started, the player cannot cancel out, so I wouldn't recommend checking the no fast forward option. We've gone over before how to change the text color in your RPG Maker game. Those colors are based on a specific palette within the files of your game. What that means is that it can be changed. To find this file, go to your project folder, then image, then system, and open window.png. Now, when you insert a color index, it pulls from this palette. I'll go ahead and put the numbers up on the screen for you now. A few different reasons you might want to change this around to your liking. Number one is, I'm not really sure why there are 5 shades of green in various areas on this color palette. Very strange to me that it doesn't just go in numerical order. Also, maybe you want to take one of the colors and make a gradient with it. Just be careful that you do not change the dimensions of the color tiles because you will affect the rest of the system image, and that will cause some wackiness in your games. Event triggers. Important. Let's go over them. The action button trigger is exactly what it sounds like. The event contents will execute when the player presses the action button in front of or on that event. Player touch causes the event to trigger when the player touches the event by running into it or stepping on it. The event touch trigger is very similar, but instead works when the event touches the player. Auto run will continuously run once the event appears or you are on the map the event is contained on, and will not allow for player input during the execution of the event contents. And finally, parallel process will cause the event to continuously run like auto run, except this will allow the player to move and do other things during the event. This will also allow events to run simultaneously alongside that event. When it comes to movement options for an event, you have movement type like fixed or random, but today I want to go over 2 of the other options that are easy to get mixed up: speed and frequency. Speed is how fast an event will move from one tile to the next. As you can see in the example, the NPC at the top is set to ×4 faster, while the NPC at the bottom is set to ×4 slower. Frequency is how often an event will move from one tile to the next. In this example, both NPCs are set to normal speed, but the NPC at the top has its frequency set to highest, and the NPC at the bottom has its frequency set to lowest. To sum things up, speed is how fast an event moves, frequency is how often an event moves. I missed a lot of RPG Maker iterations. I used the engine quite a bit in my teenage years, hanging out in discussion boards, trying to learn and create as many things as I could. As someone whose last RPG Maker before MZ was XP, I asked myself, what's one thing I could tell someone like myself to help them get reacquainted or learn the finer details of the engine now? And it's this: tooltips. This engine does a fantastic job utilizing tooltips, and they were one of the greatest sources of information for me to catch me up on what I missed or I just forgot. If you're ever looking at something on the event screen or in the database or really anywhere and you don't understand it, just hover over it with your mouse and you'll get a somewhat detailed snippet of information about the category or option. A lot of what I show in my tip videos can be found in these tooltips.